Let's bring in Democratic Congresswoman Chrissy Houlihan of Pennsylvania. I wanted to first ask you what you thought of Kurt's remarks there, and also, will infrastructure get passed? Will it happen?
Sure, and thanks again for having me. I thought Mr. Vardalla's comments were spot on. I think that as Democrats, we need to reject the narrative, the Republican narrative, that somehow Democrats are not for law and order and that Democrats aren't strong on these kinds of issues. The very agenda, the very emphases that we're putting on things like education, things like infrastructure, things like gun safety and climate safety, mental health, the American Rescue Plan, all of those kinds of things are absolutely demonstrating to the American people who is for them. And I would also agree with Mr. Vardalla that the Republican agenda demonstrates that the Republican agenda is not for them. And in terms of your question about infrastructure, I am very hopeful that we'll have an opportunity, certainly, to pass the bipartisan infrastructure package. I'm a member of the Problem Solvers Caucus in the House, and we were helpful and instrumental in negotiating that and making that a reality. But I'm also equally hopeful about a second package that will address all of these issues that we're talking about, which is the other part of infrastructure. If you have a road or a bus and you have work, you still need a babysitter. You still need somebody who's going to be helpful in order to take care of your aging parents. And those kinds of things are also infrastructure.
Casey.
Congresswoman, it's Kasie Hunt. It's lovely to see you this morning. We were just talking a little bit about a piece that is in the New York Times this morning that says that even though we're in this period of incredible change, upheaval, the coronavirus pandemic going behind us, the former president's companies just indicted, all of these things, nothing is changing about the fundamentals of where people stand, that we're still such a closely divided country. And even these big headlines don't seem to sway people one way or the other. I'm curious, what is your experience on the ground when you go home to Pennsylvania voters? Historically, the Philadelphia suburbs have been a swingy area. That's been less true lately, but the state itself also does represent this divide that we have. Why do you think it is that people are still so divided? And what are Democrats going to try to do to break through as we head toward the midterm elections?
It's nice to see you too, Casey. And what I would say is this worries me too. But it is one of the reasons why I think the Biden nomination and candidacy really resonated with people, just like people in Pennsylvania, is that we're desperately looking for our government to represent us. We're desperately looking for our representatives to have civility and decency as one of their agenda items. And I think that the Biden administration brings that to us. And I think that when I'm home in my community, one of the things we talk about all the time is that importance of civility and decency and unifying people. I have been advocating for a national service program for that exact reason. I think it's important that we find each other and that we see each other and that we recognize that we have so much more in common than we do differently. And so I get frustrated as a relatively speaking new member of Congress with the divisiveness that I see in the body and the divisiveness of tweets and Facebook posts, because I don't think that's what the American people want. The American people just want their government to get along and to function and work for them.
Congresswoman, it's Jonathan Lemire. Good morning. We were talking earlier today about the idea of crime and how the Republicans are trying to use this as sort of a divisive issue. They feel like this is a moment where they can score points on Democrats, and they're pointing to stats that show that crime is up in certain places, and particularly in like big cities, and they're painting a sort of fearful imagery of that crime moving into the suburbs like those that you represent. I want to kind of just get your sense of it. What are your constituents saying about this? Is this something you're hearing a lot about? Is this a major concern for the people you represent? How front of mind is crime right now as we move into the summer months, where a lot of experts, including the White House, fear there may be the traditional surge in violence?
We should all take crime seriously and a rising crime seriously, and we should all be thinking about what we can be doing to address that crime. And as you all mentioned earlier in your conversation, in the last 4 or 5 months, I've voted 3 or 4 times to help and support the police, and Republicans, as was mentioned earlier, have not. And so I think that's significant. But also as significant is the Democratic approach to crime in general, which is a whole of crime approach. It's not just about the actual crimes itself, but what are causing those crimes, what are underlying those crimes. And those are issues that we should be addressing with our agenda as well, whether it's safety nets or making sure that we provide the same education to all of our children, education or making sure that we're providing mental health support, because many times that's a cause of crime as well. Gun safety is another agenda item of ours. And so I believe that the Democratic response to crime is a much more holistic response and something that resonates with my community.
Congresswoman Chrissy Houlihan, thank you very much for being on this morning. Chrissy also has a new op-ed for USA Today entitled "People Are Watching." Attacks on Milley and the U.S. military play right into enemy hands. You can read that online.
By the way, and we just thank General Milley. Again, we thank him for his leadership.
Yeah.
The fact that he served this country proudly over 4 decades. In Iraq and Afghanistan. And when he made a mistake on June the 1st, he went before all of the troops and apologized. I thought showed real leadership because that is when somebody makes a mistake, and we all make mistakes. That's what a leader does. And that's what he did. But my gosh, decades and decades of leadership and experience. And I certainly hope that all Americans can rally behind that type of man or woman who's given their entire lives in uniform to defending this country.